The alarm woke Taiwan Kim from a deep sleep. Red lights flashed in his small room on Seoul Orbital Station. He jumped from his bed, heart racing. Warning, warning. Alien ships detected. All defense personnel report to stations. Taiwan grabbed his uniform and dressed quickly. 3 years of alien attacks had taught him to be fast. He splashed cold water on his face and looked in the mirror. His tired eyes stared back at him. At 32, he already had gray hairs. "Lieutenant Kim to Command Center," said a voice over the speaker. It was Colonel Han, his commander. Taiwan rushed through the station's metal hallways. Other soldiers ran past him. Everyone knew what to do. They had practiced this many times. In the command center, large screens showed the approaching alien ships. They were Yontar vessels, dark, pointed crafts that looked like giant insects. Taiwan counted 15 of them. "Lieutenant Kim, there you are," said Colonel Han. He was an older man with a serious face. "The Yontar are heading toward Japan. Your beast needs to be ready in 10 minutes. Taiwan nodded and walked to his special chair in the center of the room. It wasn't a normal chair. It was his connection to Guardian. Guardian was Earth's biggest war beast. It stood over 400 meters tall with thick, gray skin that could stop missiles. It had 4 massive arms and a head with no eyes, just sensing organs that could detect movement from kilometers away. Guardian wasn't a machine. It was alive, a bioengineered creature made from ancient DNA found in deep ocean trenches. People outside the military thought humans controlled the war beasts like robots. They were wrong. You couldn't force a war beast to do anything. They fought because they chose to. Taiwan sat in the chair and put on his neural helmet. Technicians connected wires to his arms and neck. "Neural link activating in 3, 2, 1, said the chief technician. Taiwan felt the familiar rush as his mind connected with Guardian. It was like diving into a warm ocean. Guardian's thoughts weren't like human thoughts. They were deeper, older, stranger. But after 2 years of working together, Taiwan understood them. Asterisk Frenta. Danger comes. Fights. Soon. Asterisk. Yes. Guardian. Yontar ships are coming. Are you ready? Asterisk always ready. Protect. Home. Asterisk. Through the link, Taiwan could see what Guardian saw. The beast was in its underwater pen near the Japanese coast. Massive doors were opening above it. Guardian would soon rise to the surface. Colonel Han walked over to Taiwan's chair. "Remember the plan. Keep the Yontar away from cities. We can't lose more civilians." Taiwan nodded. Last month, a Yontar attack had destroyed half of Manila. Thousands died. The aliens didn't care about human life. Through the screens, Taiwan watched Guardian rise from the water. Seawater poured off its massive body. Ships nearby looked tiny compared to it. People on the shore pointed and took pictures. Asterisk rise now. Sea sky. Enemy. Comes. Asterisk. Guardian looked up at the dark shapes entering Earth's atmosphere. The Yontar ships were coming fast. One of them shot a bright beam that hit the water near Guardian. Steam rose where it struck. Taiwan felt Guardian's anger. Not hot rage like humans feel, but a cold determination. "Guardian, remember the plan. Draw them away from the city. Asterisk understand. Move north. Open water. Asterisk." Guardian walked into deeper water, each step causing small waves. The Yontar ships followed, just as planned. 2 more war beasts rose from the water further north. They were smaller than Guardian, but still massive. One had blade-like arms. The other had a thick tail it could use like a club. The 3 war beasts formed a line facing the alien ships. Behind them was only ocean. Behind the ships was Tokyo, with millions of people. Through the link, Taiwan could feel the other beasts. They didn't speak with words, but with feelings and images. They were ready to fight. Asterisk brothers here. Together strong. Begin now. Asterisk. Guardian opened its mouth and released a powerful sonic blast. The sound was too low for human ears, but Tai-1 felt it through the link. It hit one of the Yontar ships, making it shake and fall from the sky. The battle had begun. On the screens in the command center, people cheered. But Tai-1 stayed quiet. Through the link, he knew something most humans didn't understand. The war beasts didn't fight because humans ordered them to. They fought because Earth was their home too, long before humans existed. And Guardian had just shared a secret thought with Tai-1. Asterisk old enemy returns. Remember them. From before. Sleep asterisk. The war beasts knew the Yontar from ancient times. This wasn't just an alien invasion. It was the continuation of a war that had started millions of years ago. 3 years earlier, Tai-1 was just a regular soldier. He had never heard of war beasts. No one had. They were a top secret that only a few scientists and high-ranking military leaders knew about. Tai-1 sat in a small room in the Seoul military base, watching the news on a screen. The whole world was watching the same thing: humanity's first meeting with aliens. "The Yontar ship has landed in the neutral zone," said the news reporter. Dr. Jae-Yun Park, Earth's lead expert on possible alien life, is heading the welcome team. Tai-1 leaned forward. Jae-Yun was his childhood friend. They grew up in the same small town. She was always the smart one, always looking at bugs and plants, always asking questions. Now she was meeting actual aliens. The camera showed Jae-Yun walking toward the alien ship. She was small next to the large, dark craft. It looked like a giant black beetle. 5 other scientists walked with her. They carried no weapons, only measuring tools and translation devices. A door opened in the alien ship. 3 tall figures stepped out. They had 4 arms and skin that looked like dark stone. Their heads had no visible eyes, just smooth surfaces with small bumps. The Yontar had arrived. "Hello," said Jae-Yun in English. The translation device in her hand repeated the word in different sounds, clicks and low humming noises that the scientists hoped the aliens would understand. The Yontar responded with similar sounds. The meeting seemed to be going well. For 3 days, the aliens and humans shared information. The Yontar learned simple human languages quickly. They explained they were travelers who had visited many worlds. On the 4th day, everything changed. Tai-1 was still watching from the base when alarms started to sound. The screen showed chaos at the meeting site. Jae-Yun was being carried away on a stretcher. She was bleeding. "The Yontar have attacked without warning," said the reporter, voice shaking. "We don't know why. Military forces are responding." Later, Tai-1 learned what happened. The Yontar had been shown images of Earth's animals and plants. They were interested in Earth's biodiversity. Then, a scientist showed them classified files about a strange discovery: giant cells found in deep-sea trenches. These cells were from an unknown species. They were very old, maybe millions of years old, but still alive somehow. The Yontar recognized these cells, and they were afraid. Within hours, more Yontar ships arrived. They attacked coastal cities first. Millions died in the first week. 2 months after the attack, Tai-1 finally got permission to visit Jae-Yun in the hospital. She was awake but different. Half her body was paralyzed from a Yontar weapon. "They know something we don't," Jae-Yun told him. Her voice was weak. They kept saying one word before they attacked: "Guardians." Jae-Yun had a tablet computer. She showed Tai-1 secret files, research on the strange cells from the ocean. Scientists had been studying them for decades. In the last 10 years, they had grown something from these cells, something big. The military woke them up after the first Yontar attack. Jae-Yun said, "They call them war beasts, but that's not what they are." The tablet showed a video of a massive creature rising from the ocean. It was bigger than any animal Tai-1 had ever seen. It had thick gray skin and 4 powerful arms. It walked out of the water and toward a Yontar ship that had landed on a beach. The alien ship fired weapons at it, but the creature barely slowed down. It crushed the ship like it was made of paper. "What is it?" Ta-1 asked. "We don't know exactly," said Jai-Yun. "But the Yontar do. They fear these creatures. That's why they attacked us. They think we control them, don't we?" asked Ta-1. Jai-Yun shook her head. "No one controls them. Scientists developed a neural link to communicate with them. But it's more like a partnership. The creatures choose to help us." She touched her paralyzed arm. "I'm joining the research team. They need people who can work with the beasts, but they also need soldiers who can form bonds with them." She looked at Ta-1. "People with strong minds and good hearts." 3 days later, Ta-1 volunteered for the War Beast program. 6 months after that, he met Guardian for the first time. And now, 3 years later, as he directed Guardian in battle against the Yontar ships, Ta-1 understood why the aliens had attacked. They weren't evil. They were terrified. But why? What had the war beasts done in the ancient past that made the Yontar so afraid? Guardian never gave a clear answer to this question. It only shared feelings of sadness and duty when Ta-1 asked. The truth was still hidden somewhere in Guardian's ancient memories. Back in the present day, Ta-1 was deep in his neural link with Guardian. The giant war beast moved through the ocean, fighting the Yontar ships. 2 ships already lay broken in the water, but there were still 13 more. "They're spreading out," said Colonel Han through Ta-1's headset. "They're trying to get around Guardian to reach the city." Ta-1 didn't need to speak out loud for Guardian to understand him. He just had to think. Asterisk, "They're trying to reach Tokyo. We need to stop them." Asterisk. Guardian understood. The massive creature turned its head toward the other 2 war beasts. They received Guardian's silent message and moved to block the path to the city. One of the Yontar ships flew directly at Guardian, firing energy beams. The beams hit Guardian's thick skin. Ta-1 felt a burning pain through the neural link. Whatever Guardian felt, he felt too. Asterisk, "Pain small. Continue. Fight." Asterisk. Guardian reached up with 2 of its massive arms and caught the Yontar ship. Metal bent and broke in Guardian's powerful grip. The ship exploded, but Guardian barely noticed the blast. As they fought, Guardian shared something with Ta-1. It wasn't words exactly, but images and feelings. Memories. Ta-1 saw space, stars, other worlds. Guardian's kind had not started on Earth. They came from somewhere else, long ago. They traveled between stars, looking for young worlds to watch over. They found Earth when it was young, before humans, even before the dinosaurs. They liked Earth with its blue water and green plants. Some of them stayed. But then something happened. Something bad. Guardian's memory was unclear about this part. There was danger. Guardian and its kind went deep into the ocean. They changed their bodies to sleep for a very long time. They waited. "Lieutenant Kim, are you okay?" Colonel Han's voice broke into Ta-1's thoughts. "Your heart rate is elevated." "I'm fine, sir," Ta-1 said. "Guardian is sharing memories with me." A new voice spoke. "That's not what it's supposed to do." Ta-1 opened his eyes and saw a man he didn't know standing next to Colonel Han. The man wore a colonel's uniform too, but Ta-1 had never seen him before. "This is Colonel Hyunwoo Kang," said Colonel Han. "He's the new commander of the orbital station. He arrived yesterday." Colonel Kang had a hard face with cold eyes. "The neural link is for giving commands to the beasts, not for sharing bedtime stories," he said. "Keep your mind on the battle, Lieutenant." Ta-1 didn't like the new colonel, but he said nothing. He closed his eyes and returned to Guardian. The battle was going well. The Yontar ships were pulling back. They had lost 5 ships now. The 3 war beasts stood their ground, protecting the city behind them. Asterisk, "Fight good. Enemy retreats." Asterisk. But then Ta-1 felt something strange through the link. Guardian was worried. Not about the battle, but about something else. Asterisk friend come. Need speak asterisk. Through guardian senses, Ta-One saw a small figure walking on the beach. It was hard to see clearly. Guardian's vision worked differently from human eyes. But Ta-One knew who it was. Jae-Yun Park. She shouldn't be there. She should be in the research lab, safe from the battle. But there she was, standing on the beach, looking up at Guardian. She was using a walking stick to help with her paralyzed side. Asterisk, she knows. She found truth. Asterisk. What truth? Ta-One asked out loud. Guardian, what does Jae-Yun know? Colonel Kang heard him. What are you talking about, Lieutenant? Focus on the battle. But the battle was ending. The remaining Yontar ships were flying away, back toward space. They had failed again. Guardian turned away from the retreating ships and moved toward the beach where Jae-Yun waited. The other two war beasts followed. What is it doing? Shouted Colonel Kang. Lieutenant, order it to return to its pen. I don't give orders to Guardian, said Ta-One. We work together. And right now, Guardian wants to talk to Dr. Park. Talk. Colonel Kang laughed. These things aren't pets, Lieutenant. They're weapons. Our weapons. Ta-One looked at the new colonel. No, sir. You're wrong. That's what people don't understand. The war beasts don't belong to us. They never did. Through the link, Guardian sent a feeling of agreement, and something more, a warning. Asterisk danger comes. Not ships. Danger. Inside. Asterisk. Ta-One didn't understand what Guardian meant, but as he watched Jae-Yun waiting on the beach, he felt afraid. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Colonel Kang ordered Ta-One to disconnect from Guardian. Ta-One didn't want to, but he had to follow orders. As the neural link shut down, he felt Guardian's mind slip away from his. It felt like losing a part of himself. The war beasts are returning to their underwater pens, said a technician. Good, said Colonel Kang. Now, Lieutenant Kim, explain why Dr. Park was on that beach during a battle. Before Ta-One could answer, alarms started ringing again. Red lights flashed in the command center. Neural link system failure, shouted a technician. All connections to the war beasts are down. What happened? Demanded Colonel Han. Someone has damaged the main system, said the technician. It looks like sabotage. Colonel Kang's face turned red with anger. Find out who did this. Now. Security teams rushed through the station. Ta-One tried to call Jae-Yun on his communicator, but she didn't answer. He was worried about her. Why had she been on that beach? What did she know? An hour later, Security Officer Soo-Jin Lee entered the command center. She was pushing a man in handcuffs in front of her. Ta-One recognized him. It was Do-Hyun Park, one of the engineers who worked on the neural link system. We caught him trying to leave the station, said Soo-Jin. He had this. She held up a small device. It's a computer virus designed to shut down the neural link system. Why? Colonel Han asked the engineer. Why would you do this? Do-Hyun looked down at the floor. To save us all. The war beasts are dangerous. You don't know what they really are. Explain, ordered Colonel Kang. There's a group of us who know the truth, said Do-Hyun. His voice was shaking. We found old data in the Yontar communications we captured. The war beasts aren't protectors. They were conquerors. They ruled the galaxy once, long ago. The Yontar and other species were their slaves. Ta-One shook his head. That's not true. I've been in Guardian's mind. I've seen its memories. It's showing you what it wants you to see, said Do-Hyun. Our group believes the safe thing to do is surrender to the Yontar. At least they're honest about what they want. Colonel Kang looked at Soo-Jin. Take him to the brig. We'll deal with him later. After they left, he turned to Ta-One. Can you fix the neural link? I'm not an engineer, said Ta-One, but I know someone who might help. I need to find Jae-Yun. Dr. Park. What can she do? Asked Colonel Han. She's been studying war beast communication longer than anyone, said Tadwan, and Guardian wanted to talk to her. There's a connection. Colonel Kang didn't look happy, but he nodded. Go find her, but report everything to me. I don't trust these creatures, and I'm starting to think you're too close to them, Lieutenant. Taiwan left the command center and went to Jai-Yun's quarters. They were empty. He tried the research lab next, also empty. Then he remembered something. When Jai-Yun first started working with the war beasts, she set up a special lab deep in the station, near the water tanks where baby war beasts were being studied. It was her private space. Taiwan took an elevator down to the lowest level of the station. The hallways were dark here, with fewer people. He found the door to Jai-Yun's secret lab and knocked. No answer. He tried the handle. It was unlocked. Inside, the room was a mess. Papers were scattered everywhere. Computer screens showed strange images, cells, DNA patterns, brain scans, and on the main wall was a large map of stars. Jai-Yun wasn't there, but there was a message on her computer. It was addressed to Taiwan. If you're reading this, I'm already gone, it said. I found something in Guardian's cellular memory. The truth is not what we thought. Not what the Yontar think either. The war beasts were not conquerors, and they're not simple protectors. They're judges. Come to the underwater pen. I'll show you. Taiwan felt cold. Judges. What did that mean? He heard a noise behind him and turned around. Colonel Kang stood in the doorway with two soldiers. What does she mean, judges? Asked Colonel Kang. I don't know, said Taiwan. I think you do, said Colonel Kang. He pointed to the star map on the wall. Do you know what that is? It's a map of worlds the war beasts destroyed. Whole planets wiped clean of life. Is that what you want for Earth? That can't be right, said Taiwan. But doubt crept into his mind. What if Du-Gyun was right? What if Guardian had been hiding the truth? Come with me, said Colonel Kang. We're going to find Dr. Park. And then we're going to shut down these monsters for good. Colonel Kang led Taiwan and the two soldiers to a small transport ship. They would go to the underwater pen where the war beasts were kept, where Jai-Yun had gone. As they flew over the ocean, Taiwan looked out the window. The water was calm now. It was hard to believe that a battle had happened there just hours ago. I want answers, Lieutenant, said Colonel Kang. What do you really know about these creatures? Only what Guardian has shared with me, said Taiwan. They came to Earth millions of years ago. They went to sleep in the deep ocean. Our scientists woke them up. And you trust everything this Guardian tells you. Taiwan thought about this. Yes, he said finally. I do. Colonel Kang shook his head. That's the problem with the neural link. It makes you trust them. But we should fear them. The ship landed on a platform in the middle of the ocean. It looked like an oil rig, but it was really the top of a huge underwater base. They took an elevator down, deep under the water. Through small windows, Taiwan could see fish swimming by. At the bottom, they entered a large room with metal walls. There was a pool of water in the center, big enough for a war beast to rise up through it. Computer screens lined the walls. And there, sitting at one of the computers, was Jai-Yun. Dr. Park, said Colonel Kang. You have a lot to explain. Jai-Yun turned around. She looked tired but determined. Colonel Kang, I was expecting Lieutenant Kim, but not you. Your message was very interesting, said Colonel Kang. You called the war beasts judges. What did you mean? Jai-Yun stood up, leaning on her walking stick. I found a way to read more of their cellular memory. It's like a living record of everything they've ever done or seen. She pressed a button on the computer. The screen showed strange patterns of light and color. This is how they store memories, not in a brain like we do, but in every cell of their bodies. And what did you learn? Asked Taiwan. They were created, said Jai-Yun, made by an ancient species that's now gone. They were designed to be guardians of balance in the galaxy. They watched over developing worlds and protected them from older, more advanced species that might harm them. So they are protectors, said Tadwan. Yes, but also judges, said Jai-Yun. When a species became advanced enough to travel to other worlds, the war beasts would judge them. Were they peaceful? Did they respect other forms of life? If yes, the war beasts welcomed them into a galactic community. If no, they destroyed them, finished Colonel Kang. Like the map in your lab showed. Jai-Yun nodded slowly. Sometimes, but only when a species threatened many others. They were judges, but also executioners when needed. And the Yontar? Asked Tadwan. The war beasts protected them once, long ago, said Jai-Yun. But the Yontar changed. They became aggressive, invaded other worlds. The war beasts judged them and found them wanting. There was a war. The Yontar lost, but some escaped. They've hated the war beasts ever since. So the Yontar attack Earth because they think we control their ancient enemies, said Tadwan. Yes, said Jai-Yun. But there's more. The war beasts didn't just come to Earth by chance. They chose it. They saw humans evolving and thought we had potential. They went to sleep, waiting for us to develop enough to meet them. And now they're judging us too, said Colonel Kang, his voice cold. That's why I don't trust them. What if they decide we're not worthy? What if they turn on us? They won't, said Jai-Yun. They've already decided. Why do you think they fight for us? They could have destroyed the Yontar ships in space, but they stay close to Earth, protecting our cities. They protect us because we treat them with respect, said Tadwan. We don't try to control them. We work with them. Jai-Yun nodded. I've created a new type of neural link, deeper than before. It will let you connect with Guardian on a level no one has tried before. It might help us end this war. How? Asked Tadwan. If you connect deeply enough, you might be able to access Guardian's full knowledge. Maybe find a way to communicate with the Yontar, to make them understand. That sounds dangerous, said Colonel Kang. I forbid it. It is dangerous, admitted Jai-Yun. The human mind isn't made to handle so much information. But we're running out of options. Our defenses are failing. The Yontar attacks are getting stronger. Suddenly, alarms started blaring. A voice came over the speakers. Alert! Massive Yontar fleet detected entering the solar system. All personnel to battle stations. They're coming back, said Tadwan. And the neural link system is still down. We have my prototype, said Jai-Yun. She held up a small device. It's untested. It could kill you. But it might be our only chance. Water splashed across the room as Guardian's massive head rose from the pool. It was so big that it filled half the space. Its skin glistened wet in the bright lights. Everyone stepped back except Tadwan. How did it get here? Colonel Kang shouted. No one ordered it to come. I told you, said Jai-Yun calmly. They don't take orders. Guardian came because it knows we need help. Guardian moved slightly, careful not to damage the room. It lowered its head toward Tadwan. There was no mouth or eyes, but Tadwan felt its attention on him. Without the neural link, he couldn't hear Guardian's thoughts, but he could feel its presence. The Yontar fleet will reach Earth in 2 hours, said Jai-Yun, looking at her computer. It's 3 times bigger than any attack before. All 20 war beasts will need to fight together. 20, said Colonel Kang. We only have 12. Jai-Yun smiled. There are more. They've been waking up slowly, deep in the ocean trenches. Colonel Kang raised his gun again, pointing it at Jai-Yun. You knew about this and didn't report it. Before anyone could move, Guardian extended one of its smaller arms through the water. It was still massive compared to a human. With gentle care, it placed itself between Colonel Kang and Jai-Yun. Put the gun down, Colonel, said Tadwan. Guardian doesn't want anyone hurt. See, it protects us, said Jai-Yun. Colonel Kang lowered his gun slowly. His face was pale. What's your plan, Dr. Park? Jai Yun held up the small device she had shown earlier. This prototype neural link will connect Ta-1 to Guardian at a deeper level than ever before. If it works, they might find a way to communicate with the Yontar, to explain that humans aren't their enemies. And if it doesn't work? Asked Colonel Kang. Then at least the war beasts will fight better with Ta-1 connected to Guardian, said Jai Yun. The other pilots are on their way here now. As if on cue, the door opened and 5 other neural link pilots ran in. They stopped short when they saw Guardian's massive head in the room. The regular link systems are down, Jai Yun explained to them. But I have prototype units for each of you. She handed out devices similar to the one she had shown Ta-1. These connect directly to your nervous system. They're not as safe as the regular link, but they'll work. Not as safe how? Asked one of the pilots, a woman named Minji. There's a risk of brain damage, said Jai Yun honestly, or worse. But without the links, the war beasts won't fight as effectively. The pilots looked at each other. Then Minji stepped forward. I'll do it, she said. The others nodded their agreement. Ta-1 looked at Guardian. The massive creature had not moved. It waited patiently, water dripping from its skin. Let's do this, said Ta-1. He took the device from Jai Yun. It was small, like a metal spider with thin legs. Jai Yun placed it on the back of Ta-1's neck. It stung as its tiny needles went into his skin, connecting to his spine. The other pilots did the same with their devices. Focus on your beast, Jai Yun instructed. Think of it like you always do with the regular link. Ta-1 closed his eyes. He thought of Guardian, of their connection, of the battles they had fought together. At first, nothing happened. Then a rush of sensations flooded his mind. It was much stronger than the regular link. He could feel every part of Guardian's massive body as if it were his own. He could sense the water around its lower body, the air on its upper parts, and he could feel its mind, ancient and vast. Asterisk Frenta. Join deep. See all asterisk. Guardian's thoughts were clearer than ever before, and there were images, millions of them, memories from countless years flowing into Ta-1's mind. He saw Guardian and others like it traveling between stars. He saw them watching over young worlds, protecting small, developing species from cosmic threats. He saw battles with aggressive civilizations that tried to conquer others. And he saw the Yontar, once peaceful, then changing, growing cruel and expansionist. The other pilots gasped as they experienced similar connections with their war beasts. Then pain shot through Ta-1's mind. One of the pilots screamed and fell to the floor. Blood came from her nose and ears. Minji. Jai Yun rushed to her side, but it was too late. The pilot was dead, her brain overwhelmed by the connection. Shut it down, shouted Colonel Kang. We can't, said Jai Yun. Once connected, the link has to run its course. 2 more pilots collapsed, their bodies shaking. Ta-1 felt pain building in his head, but he pushed through it, focusing on Guardian. Asterisk danger comes. Must fight. Together. Strong asterisk. Through Guardian senses, Ta-1 could see the Yontar fleet entering Earth's atmosphere. Hundreds of ships, more than ever before. The battle was about to begin. Ta-1 stood with his eyes closed as Guardian's mind flowed into his. The pain was still there, but he was learning to handle it. Through their connection, he could see the 20 war beasts gathering in the ocean. Some he had never seen before. They were bigger and stranger than the ones he knew. The Yontar fleet has entered the atmosphere, said Jai Yun, watching their screens. They're heading for major cities across the world. We need to move, said Ta-1, his voice strange and distant. Guardian wants to lead the others to battle. Colonel Kang looked at the 3 pilots who were still alive and connected to their beasts. Go, he said. Try to save as many lives as you can. Guardian pulled back from the pool, lowering itself into the deep water. Ta-1 felt the movement, as if it were his own body diving down. I'm going with him, said Tadwan, walking toward the pool. What? No. Jia Yun grabbed his arm. You'll drown. I won't, said Tadwan. Guardian will protect me. Before anyone could stop him, Taiwan jumped into the water. Cold surrounded him, but through the link, he didn't feel afraid. Guardian's massive hand gently caught him and brought him close to its body. A pocket of air formed around Taiwan, created by Guardian's control of the water pressure. Together, they swam out of the underwater base and into the open ocean. The other war beasts followed. Through their connection, Taiwan could sense them all, a family of ancient guardians, awakened to protect Earth once more. As they rose to the surface, Taiwan saw the sky filled with Yontar ships. Hundreds of them, dark against the blue sky. The ships fired energy beams at cities along the coast. Buildings fell. People ran in fear. The war beasts burst from the water in a great wave. They stood like giants against the alien ships. The battle began. Guardian moved with power and purpose. It caught Yontar ships and crushed them. It used its sonic blasts to disable others. The other war beasts fought just as hard, but there were too many ships. Through the link, Taiwan felt when the first war beast fell. It was one of the smaller ones. A Yontar beam hit it in the head, burning through its thick skin. The beast died quickly, falling back into the ocean. Asterisk brother gone. Sadness. Fight harder. Asterisk. Two more war beasts fell as the battle continued. Taiwan felt their deaths too. It hurt, like losing parts of himself. Guardian, there are too many of them, said Taiwan. We need another way. Asterisk show you. Full truth. Ready. Asterisk. Yes, said Taiwan. Show me everything. Guardian's mind opened completely to him. No barriers, no hidden thoughts. Taiwan saw the full history of the war beasts. They were created billions of years ago by the first intelligent species in the galaxy. They were meant to guide younger species, to help them grow without destroying themselves or others. The war beasts didn't just protect, they tested. Each developing species faced challenges that showed their true nature. Would they work together? Would they show kindness? Or would they choose violence and selfishness? Those who passed the test were welcomed into a galactic community. Those who failed were sometimes destroyed, but only if they threatened many others. Most were simply left alone until they learned better ways. The Yontar failed their test, said Taiwan, understanding now. And they hate you for judging them. Asterisk yes. Long ago, they attacked many worlds. We stopped them. Some escaped asterisk. And now they're attacking Earth because they think we control you. But we don't. Asterisk no control. Free choice. We watch humans. Long time. See potential asterisk. You've been testing us too, said Taiwan suddenly. Since you woke up, you wanted to see if we would try to control you or work with you. Asterisk yes. Some humans good, some not. Like all species. Asterisk. Guardian turned its attention to one particular Yontar ship. It was larger than the others and stayed back from the fighting. The commander's ship. Asterisk can talk. Through you. Bridge. Mines. Asterisk. Taiwan understood. With their deep connection, he could help Guardian communicate directly with the Yontar leader. Do it, said Taiwan. Let me help you speak to them. Guardian reached out with its mind, using Taiwan's human thoughts to form a bridge. Taiwan felt a new presence, cold, alien, and full of hate. The Yontar commander, a being named Voshtar. Asterisk, what do you help these beasts? Human. Asterisk, the Yontar's thoughts were like ice in Taiwan's mind. They don't control us, Taiwan answered. We work together by choice. Asterisk lies. They control all species. They GGG and destroy those. They find you in WORTKY. They only fought those who threatened others, said Taiwan. Like you are threatening us now. Asterisk, we aim to free you from their control. To save you from their ent asterisk. We don't need saving, said Taiwan. The war beasts protect Earth because they chose to make it their home. And we protect them because they are our allies, our friends. Through their connection, Taiwan felt Guardian's appreciation of his words, and something else, a final revelation that Guardian had kept hidden until now. The war beasts weren't just judging humanity. They were looking for a successor, a species worthy of inheriting their role as guardians of the galaxy, a species that would not control others, but work with them. They had chosen humanity for this honor, if humans proved worthy. While Taiwan was connected to Guardian and the Yontar commander, things were happening back at the underwater base. Colonel Kang had been quiet, watching the battle on the screens. Now he moved quickly to a locked panel on the wall. "What are you doing?" asked Jai-yun, watching him punch in a code. "What needs to be done?" said Colonel Kang. The panel opened, revealing a red button behind glass. "This is a quantum destabilizer. It will create a field that breaks down the special cells that make up the war beasts." Jai-yun's eyes went wide. "You'll kill them all. But they're fighting for us." "Are they?" asked Colonel Kang. "Or are they using us? Testing us? Judging us? I don't want to be judged by ancient aliens, Dr. Park." He broke the glass with his gun. "The destabilizer will affect the Yontar ships too. We'll end this war today, our way." Jai-yun moved toward him. "You can't. The destabilizer field will interact with Earth's atmosphere. It could cause a chain reaction." Colonel Kang pointed his gun at her. "Stay back. I'm doing what's best for humanity." Out in the ocean, the battle continued. Many Yontar ships had been destroyed, but more kept coming. 5 war beasts had fallen now. Guardian fought on, with Taiwan still connected to its mind. Through their link, Taiwan sensed something wrong. A new danger. Not from the Yontar, but from the underwater base. Asterisk danger great. Death weapon. Friend Jai-yun. Danger, asterisk. Guardian turned away from the battle and dove back toward the underwater base. 2 other war beasts followed, understanding Guardian's concern through their shared connection. "What's happening?" Taiwan asked, still safe in the air bubble Guardian had created around him. Asterisk human fear. Make weapon. Kill. All asterisk. Taiwan understood. Someone at the base had a weapon that threatened everyone, and Jai-yun was in danger. They reached the base quickly. Guardian was too big to enter through the normal ways, so it created its own entrance, smashing through the outer wall. Water rushed in, but Guardian controlled it, forming a tunnel of air as it pushed its way toward the main room. Inside, Taiwan saw Colonel Kang standing by an open panel. Jai-yun was trying to stop him. 4 security officers had their guns pointed at her. "Stop!" shouted Taiwan as Guardian broke through the wall. Water sprayed into the room, but stopped in midair, held back by Guardian's power. Colonel Kang looked up in shock. "How did you?" "Step away from that panel," said Taiwan. "Guardian says it's a weapon that could kill everyone, even humans." "It will save us," insisted Colonel Kang. "From them." He pointed at Guardian. "They're judging us, testing us. What happens when we fail their test?" "That's not how it works," said Taiwan. "They're looking for partners, not subjects." Colonel Kang shook his head. "I can't take that chance." His hand moved toward the red button. Jai-yun ran forward to stop him. One of the security officers fired his gun. The shot hit Jai-yun in the chest. She fell to the floor. "No." Taiwan jumped down from Guardian's hand and ran to Jai-yun. He held her in his arms. Blood soaked her shirt. "Taiwan," she whispered. "The link. Completed. Show them. Everything." Her hand moved to the device on his neck. She pressed something, and suddenly the neural link grew stronger. Taiwan felt a rush of new sensations. Not just Guardian's thoughts, but his own human feelings flowing the other way. For the first time, Guardian experienced human emotions directly. It felt Taowan's anger at Colonel Kang, his fear for Earth, his sadness for Jai-yun, who was dying in his arms, and most of all, his love for Jai-yun, for his family, for his home planet. Guardian had never felt these emotions before. War beasts understood duty and purpose, but not love or grief, not the way humans did. Through Taiwan, all the war beasts received these human emotions. They paused in their battle with the Yontar. For a moment, everything was still. Colonel Kang used this moment to reach for the button again. But before he could press it, Guardian moved. One of its smaller arms shot out, stopping just an inch from Colonel Kang's face. It could have killed him easily, but it didn't. "See," said Taiwan, still holding Jai-yun. "They aren't destroyers. They protect life, even yours." Jai-yun's breathing was shallow now. The complete link, both ways. Now they understand. Her eyes closed. Taiwan felt her life slip away. Tears ran down his face. Through the link, Guardian felt this grief too. The first time any war beast had experienced such emotion. And in that moment, something changed. The war beasts gained what they had been missing for billions of years, the emotional understanding of what it meant to have a home worth fighting for, worth dying for. They had found their successors. Taiwan held Jai-yun's body in his arms. Tears fell from his eyes onto her still face. Through the neural link, Guardian felt Taiwan's grief like it was its own. For the first time in its long life, the ancient creature truly understood human emotion. And it wasn't just Guardian. All the war beasts were connected through their shared mind. They all felt what Taiwan felt. They all understood. Colonel Kang stepped back from the panel, his face pale. Guardian had not hurt him, even when it could have. "Why?" he asked. "Why didn't it kill me?" "Because that's not what they do," said Taiwan, looking up. "They protect. They guide. They don't destroy unless there's no other choice." Outside, the battle had paused. The war beasts had stopped fighting. The Yontar ships hovered, waiting, confused by the sudden change. Guardian moved its massive head closer to Taiwan. Through their link, it shared a plan. Asterisk show them. Truthful. Your memories. Your feelings. Asterisk. Taiwan nodded. Do it. Guardian extended its mind outward, not just to the other war beasts, but to the Yontar ships. Using Taiwan's human thoughts and emotions as a bridge, it broadcast a message. In their ships, the Yontar received images and feelings. They saw Earth through human eyes. They felt human love, fear, hope, and sadness. They saw Jai-yun's sacrifice. They felt Taiwan's grief. And they saw the truth about the war beasts, not as conquerors or judges, but as guardians looking for worthy partners, beings who would choose to protect rather than control. On the largest Yontar ship, Commander Voshtar received these images and feelings. For the first time, he understood. The war beasts had not enslaved humans. Humans had not enslaved war beasts. They had chosen each other. Half of the Yontar fleet began to retreat, moving back toward space, but the other half, led by ships loyal to Voshtar, continued the attack. They fired on the war beasts, hitting 2 more. The giants fell into the ocean. Asterisk must end. No more death. Asterisk. Guardian and the remaining war beasts moved with new purpose. Instead of destroying the Yontar ships, they disabled them. They removed weapons and engines with careful precision. Ships fell into the ocean, but they didn't explode. The Yontar inside remained alive. Within an hour, the battle was over. The attacking Yontar ships were disabled. The rest had retreated. Earth was safe for now. 3 days later, Taiwan stood on a beach looking out at the ocean. Next to him stood Colonel Kang, who had not been punished for his actions. In a strange way, his fear had helped prove humanity's worth. Even in fear, He had hesitated to destroy the war beasts when given the chance. "They're coming," said Colonel Kang, pointing to the water. Guardian rose from the ocean, water streaming from its massive body. Behind it came another war beast, smaller but similar in shape, and next to that one was a Yontar ship, floating peacefully on the water. The ship opened, and Commander Voshtar stepped out. He looked strange on land, his 4 arms moving carefully to keep balance. He walked to where Ta Wan and Colonel Kang waited. "We have much to discuss," said Voshtar, his voice translated by a device around his neck. "My people have been wrong about the Guardians, and about humans. We have a lot to learn from each other," said Ta Wan. They walked together to a building near the beach, where representatives from Earth's governments waited. The first peace talks between humans and Yontar were about to begin. As they walked, Ta Wan felt Guardian's presence in his mind. The neural link had become permanent now. He would always be connected to the ancient creature, not as its master or its servant, but as its partner. Asterisk begin new. Good future. Together. Learn. Asterisk. That night, after the first meetings ended, Ta Wan returned to the beach alone. He placed flowers on a small memorial for Jai Yun. Her sacrifice had made peace possible. Guardian joined him, rising silently from the water. Through their link, Ta Wan felt its respect for Jai Yun, and something more, a vision of the future. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, more war beasts were awakening, not as weapons of war, but as teachers and partners. They would help humanity grow, learn, and eventually take their place among the stars. The war beasts had found what they searched for across billions of years, a species with the capacity for both great intelligence and deep feeling. A species that could understand both duty and love. A species worthy of becoming the next guardians of life in the galaxy. Humans didn't fight for war beasts because they had to. They fought because they chose to. Because that's what partners do. They protect each other. They stand together. And now, together, they would build something new.